We're under caution at the Michigan International Speedway, a one-car incident involving David Stremme. Third caution of the race. There you can see the entrance to pit road. And watch the middle of your screen, the 12 car.
That thing just busted loose, and he was just hanging on for the ride at this point.
Told the team the car had been loose up until then.
I think slid a quarter mile before he hit anything. I mean, think about how far that is. Here he is coming off turn 4, down across the apron, on the pit road.
Blew the right front.
Here's the big thing. The lucky dog, the 17 of Matt Kenseth. He will get to come around and be the 22nd car on the lead lap because of the location of that car and the safety vehicles. Pit road is closed. So we'll step out for break, come back for pit stops, and this is really going to tighten the old fuel window here at Michigan. We are back at Michigan. Pit road opened one lap earlier than we anticipated. All the lead lap cars have stopped, but we're going to take you right back through what happened. Jimmie Johnson leads them down pit road. He's in that very first stall. Here you see Craig Biffle in the 16 and the 2 of Kurt Busch. And Lindsay?
Well, Jimmie Johnson came in. I told you before, he said he had been a little bit free on turn 2. They gave him 4 tires, gave him a chassis adjustment and fuel, Matt Yoakum.
Lindsay, a track bar adjustment for Biffle, still a tick on the free side. His situation, much like Mark Martin, who was in third, both are about 3 laps short on fuel. Ralph?
Still working with air pressure adjustments for Kurt Busch to put 4 tires and fuel in the car. His biggest thing now, too, is that he feels the front is coming up too easily on the gas. They say, Marty, that's more of a geometry issue at the front of the car. Won't be able to work on that till they get back to the shop, and they will not be able to go the distance on this much fuel, Marty.
Denny Hamlin asked Mike Ford to free him up just a little bit. A quarter round of wedge in the right rear, that's all. Such a small change for these guys, and they gained them 2 spots here on pit road up to the 2nd position. They are about 5 to 6 laps short, and before he even left pit road, Mike Ford was saying, save as much fuel as you can, Bill.
Thanks, Marty. And there is the race off pit road. We wanted you to watch the 48 and the 5 come down side by side, but Biffle beat them all out. And as you saw, followed by Denny Hamlin.
Yeah, Biffle's pit stop was about 1.5 seconds faster than Jimmie Johnson's, and that's all it took for him to get that spot.
Scott Speed and A.J. Allmendinger have returned to the track. Larry?
All right, Bill, we know things change. These guys make a little more power, but it's the same gear ratio as a year ago. Last year, Dale Earnhardt Jr. went 55 laps. Now, that included 10 laps of caution. So if you do the numbers, that's equal to about 50 green flag laps. I'll guarantee you there are guys out there, especially I think the Chevrolet camp, that can make it from here.
Larry?
I didn't put my calculator up. I was just kidding.
Okay. You know what note I had in my hand?
The same one.
You betcha.
Look at this, Larry.
Tap out our stats, people, huh?
Look at this, Larry.
Hey,
Larry.
what did we talk about in the countdown?
There it is. There it is, baby. There it is.
The switch off.
And you heard him pop the clutch and fire it. Listen to him. Fire it back up. Now it's just quiet. That's the way it sounds right before you hit something also, just so y'all know that.
Yeah, it's an ugly sound.
Yeah. He pops his ignition back up. He's riding the clutch, pops the clutch, fires it up. He's just tooling around here. He's down here in turn 3, down here in turn 4 on the racetrack right now, getting ahead of steam, cuts it off. Now he's coasting. Every little bit he's doing here will pay off. They hope that they don't go any caution. So he's going to do this he's going to do this until it comes time to go green. Okay, it's not Earth Day, so he just threw a bottle out. That's okay. All right, sorry about that. But this is what Larry talked about in pre-race. This is what we've talked about. You know, and everybody thought you can't do this under green. We can talk about this. You can't do this under green, but where he's at right now, he's out front. He's the perfect guy.
All right, buddy, we're getting closer and closer by the foot here. Saving all you can. Saving all you can.
Hey, Larry, you know, does this sometimes create other problems? I mean, you're doing this, say you do this 10 or 12 times a lap, it's not exactly good on the trannies.
Hey, there's a lot of things it's not good on, but you know what, Wally? Running out of gas is not good either. I like the numbers on his A-post bar. We always talk about Dale Earnhardt Jr. not being able to find his pits. If you look at those numbers there on Greg Biffle's little pad in there, that tells him that the 2 cars before his pit is Mark Martin and the 37 car. The 2 cars after his pits, it was Joe Nemechek and Scott Speed. I like that right there.
Getting ready to go back to green here. Jimmie Johnson has led 142 laps. He's currently scored in the 3rd position. The most laps led by a driver who failed to win at Michigan 141 laps. That was by Mark Martin in June of 1993. Ricky Rudd won that race driving for Rick Hendrick in car number 5. Fans Off Track with Tony Stewart, presented by Armor All, is an exclusive video series that puts you behind the scenes with racing superstar Tony Stewart. To watch now, go to NASCAR.com/ArmorAll. Biffle and Hamlin on the front row. And Biffle taking the outside line. Then it's Jimmy Johnson, Mark Martin, Jeff Gordon, Montoya, Stewart, Kane, Kurt Busch, and McMurray. There were 6 wave-around cars. They restart at the rear of the field. They must take the green on the track. Here's the double file restart, shootout style. 45 to go.
Hamlin got a terrible start right there. You saw him just spin the tires and then try to block as much as he could to the inside.
Biffle, then Mark Martin. Then Jimmy Johnson. Man, I love that restart.
Well, Kyle Busch is working that high line, and he is passing cars right now.
I think the double file restart is exciting because we've talked about it before. You got to get as much as you can on new tires as soon as the green flag drops. And the thing is, these are the guys you're racing with, so you're getting everything you can. And, oh, man, Kyle was sideways coming out of 2 right there. That caught my breath.
Well, it's just that, you don't have to waste your time for 3 or 4 laps trying to clear those cars down on the bottom that are lapping more down. And, like you said, you're racing guys now. As soon as they drop the green flag, you're racing the guys that you've been racing all day for position.
I heard a driver say the other day, and it was a good comment. He said, I used to like the lap cars on the inside because once I cleared them, I knew I had a little bit of breathing room for a few laps. He said, but I understand from the fans' perspective that they think the double file restart and us hammering it down in the corner after this is important. And he understood it, but he gave his reason for liking it.
He must have been one of those guys who was normally in the top 3.
Obviously, yes. In the top 2 at some places.
Okay.
Just a reminder, you must stay in line until you cross the start-finish line on these double file restarts. NASCAR has requested that the 48 car remember to stay in line until you cross the start-finish line.
Well, that's exciting. I don't think I was ever requested or reminded to do anything. I was just told to do stuff.
Well, that's you.
Yeah, obviously.
Matt on Casey Kane.
Well, Casey Kane restarted in 8th position. He's made his way up to 7th. He's got that new Dodge engine, a little thirstier as far as fuel mileage goes. They've got a game plan to try to get them to the finish.
Want to get going here and it'll spread out. Maybe we can save, or I'm not real sure what to do. Yeah, hopefully we can get going. It'll spread out, and then what we'll do is like about 3/4 down the straightaway, you'll just kick it in neutral and coast into the corner, and then kick it back in gear when you get ready to go off the corner. That'll save a good bit of fuel.
It's a little bit about saving fuel. 1 year ago in this event, he finished 2nd.
But Larry McReynolds, you know that if there's a car out there that's going to have a tough time saving fuel, it is that 9 car. Why?
Well, Bill, we were in the garage area this morning, and you and I talked just a little bit. The new Dodge engine, the R6 engine, like the Penske cars that have been running all year long, they don't get quite as good a fuel mileage as the old Dodge engine package. And for only the 2nd time in 2009, Kenny Francis, Casey Kane, that 9 car, they have the new R6 Dodge engine in. So they've not got to the fuel mileage like the old Dodge engine just yet.
Thank you, sir. Looking for the 11 car of Denny Hamlin right here. Here's our Toyota driver update. And he runs in the 4th spot. Toyota. So Toyota driver update right behind him. A Chevrolets, Jeff Gordon and Juan Montoya.